You're listening to Viking Radio, coming to you from Dream Street Studios at Del Mar College.
Hello, I'm your host, Dr. Natalie Chapa. Good morning, Corpus Christi. Thanks for joining Viking Radio this morning. Here with Mike B on the side mic. And I'm your host, Natalie Chapa. Good morning, everybody. So today's special treat coming to you from Del Mar College, we've got a couple of our faculty here in the room with us coming to talk to us about some really important things, right, Mike?
That's right, yes. Journalism, that is a hot topic, and we have two of the best.
We do. We've got Mr. Rob Muilenburg, one of our journalism professors here. Also, Rob, you're really big as a student advisor and with Foghorn.
Yeah, I've been teaching and advising here for 20 years now. This
Very
was
nice.
officially my 20th, and it's been interesting. It's been fun all the way through.
It's been fun, interesting all the way through. But also joining us in the studio this morning is Miss Allison Ehrlich. Allison Ehrlich. And Allison, tell us what you do here at the college.
I am the publications assistant for the journalism department, basically for the Foghorn. So
very nice. And so the Foghorn journalism legacy here at Del Mar College.
That's right. Yes, and they recently, within the last couple of years, changed the name to Foghorn News, correct?
Yeah, we changed the logo because it's just the basic integration of everything into the single outlet, hopefully through the website. But we still do a biweekly publication.
Okay, and for our audience out there, yes, we still have a student newspaper thriving here at Del Mar College. I think it's one of the staples in higher education, right? And so let's talk a little bit about that because our students are rock stars. And I know Mike was mentioning to me earlier that y'all been to some conferences and our students have won some awards. Rob, do you want to touch on that a bit?
Yeah, there's 3 primary conferences we go to, but there's 4 competitions we do. One is the Texas Community College Journalism Association. That's one we have going. And we always do very well in there. And then the Texas Intercollegiate Press Association is where we get our students are able to compete with 4-year colleges.
Wow.
So it's not just the community college version. And then the College Media Association, which is the national one, and the Associated Collegiate Press. In the last 3 years, just in the 3 years when I did my eval, I counted up and we won over 300 awards state and nationally.
300 awards. And what kind of awards are our students winning? What are they being spotlighted for?
it's all over the map. They're winning for photography, for writing, for their videos, their podcasts. What else is?
We've had
a little bit of everything.
Little bit of everything.
It is across the board. And one of the best ones, one of the highlights we always have is there's one called The Pacemaker, which is among the best 2-year college newspapers in the nation. And we have been a finalist for that. And for the last 2 years on not just that, but we've had it with broadcasts, some of the others. And then we also have multiple national winners where these are individual contests where our students have won a first place in the nation in photography, there's one in writing, there's a reporter of the year. And when those come along, they're not, every year, but we've had more than our fair share, and it's really exciting.
That is so exciting. Go ahead,
Even
Allison.
comic artists, we actually had that one gets a lot of students when they're just walking by and they're like, "I was told that y'all publish cartoons or comic strips." And we're like, "Yeah, come on,
that's fun.
Drop something in, let us see."
I know that for our audience out there listening, it's probably refreshing to hear about all the work that's being done in colleges right now with writing. That it really takes that individual person, photography, the writing, all the parts of journalism and media that kind of seem to be sometimes in the background, as not as much as currently, like, for example, social media. So I love that Del Mar College is doing this. So if we've got people out there in the community and they're like, oh, I've got a kiddo at home who's really interested in this, or maybe I'm interested in this, who do they contact here at Del Mar College?
Well, they would contact me, Robert Muilenburg, and it's rmuilenburg@delmar.edu, or you know how to spell Muilenburg, or
Only because I know Lisa.
yeah, only because
That's
or they could contact the communications department too.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know we have a journalism major, and we also have an advertising PR to broadcast. But we've done a lot in the last 5 years to really merge those together, where we're kind of focusing on making sure students leave as content creators. And I mean that in a very broad sense. They do know how to cover it all, because we have students who are really motivated towards broadcast, and that's great. And if they're motivated towards that, or the news writers, but there's a lot who just are really appreciate being involved in communications, media communications. So we kind of pursue and push that and give them as many outlets as we can
okay.
to let them do that.
Absolutely, I agree with Rob. Del Mar College is a great place to start if your child or your grandchild, your niece, your nephew has an interest in news media, news reporting, anything in that field. Del Mar College is a great place to start. I can attest to that. It was my gateway to journalism, and Rob and I go way back on that. And a shout out to Allison. She was with the Corpus Christi Caller-Times for 17 years.
Wow, Allison, 17 years?
Long time.
So
Okay.
these folks they can get you prepared for news media, whether that's radio or TV or print journalism.
And Allison is a testament to so many of our faculty and staff here that have that real world experience, right? So when you're coming in, you're learning about theory, you're learning the basics, but then you're also learning how to use it out in the real world and how things really work out there. So you mentioned content creation, right? And I know that word kind of gets thrown around. So when a student learns you said a little bit of content creation, what are we talking about for our audience? What are you learning?
They're learning design, they're learning writing, they're learning how to go and report a story.
So like if you're on the news, if
Yes.
you're for a magazine.
How to do that background of news gathering. What am I going to write about? How am I going to ask these questions? Who am I talking to? Who else's voice do I need in this story? So they're learning those very basics, but then they're also learning, okay, this is how you put together a social media campaign.
Okay.
This is how you are going to write a feature article. This is how you are going to write a news article. Here's an editorial that you're going to write.
So you're learning a little bit of everything.
It's a little bit of everything,
That's
depending
great.
on the classes.
Mhm.
Oh, I was just going to say, too, one of the biggest things is when we talk about content creators, I always notice they sell content creator camera kits, which just means you can go, take videos of yourself. The primary thing really with it is they're learning responsible, ethical, detailed journalism, which
Thank you
means
for
going
this.
and talking to the sources and finding out, not aggregating a bunch of
Fact checking.
Yes.
Yeah. Not aggregating stuff you found elsewhere, but following up and making sure you get everything correct and detailed and do it honestly and ethically. And that's really a big thing, what the difference is between just throwing stuff up there or doing real news content gathering.
Yeah. And I know, I think it's appreciated out there generally that this work, this teaching, the art of journalism is still being taught, right? And like you said, in an ethical way with integrity. And I think that's one of the things that's definitely a legacy program, I think, here at Del Mar College. And the Foghorn has been here since, how long has the Foghorn?
1935.
1935?
What was it? The college opened in September, and the first issue came out in November.
November 7th, 1935. The Fog.
Wow.
It was officially called the College News. And I always like to put this little fact in there. So the students voted on it the next semester. It would have been spring of 36. And Foghorn came out number one for the name of the paper, but the second place was the Porthole. So we were almost the Porthole.
Okay. I like Foghorn use. I think that was
Foghorn works better.
I like Foghorn. I think they made a good choice, but
well, and for our DMC alumni out there, then you've seen it. You're
Porthole.
walking
It's just
around-
fun to say.
it is. Yeah, the Del Mar Porthole. I could see it on a banner.
I can draw that.
Thank goodness.
People want to see them. They can read those issues.
Oh yes, we actually do have. We've digitized a good portion of the foghorns.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're all available through the Texas Digital Newspaper Project, which is
Okay.
available through UNT is the one that's kind of administering the program.
Which is
but it's a
UNT, University of North Texas in Denton. Okay.
And so we have been working with them for the past 2 years to digitize the old foghorn issues. Right now, they've done the 60s, 70s, and we have sent them the earliest editions. So they're still working on those 1935s and everything. And we had to use the library's issues of the foghorn because we in the journalism department, we only had about from the late 70s to the current ones. But nobody has any from the 50s, from the 1950s. There's like 5 issues, and we would love it if people could find those.
Shout out
in
to our
their closets, in their old garages, grandma's papers.
Okay, Viking family out there, as Miss Allison is asking, if you've got anything from the 1950s, please share it with Del Mar College. Call the College Relations Office. Ask for Mike Bratton.
Thanks.
The collector of all things. So I started working here in 2014 in the foundation, and I loved going through the old yearbooks. Like, it was just the pride and the culture and history that was created here at the college. Back in the day, we had sports, we had college dorms, and so it's just it's cool to see where the college started and where it came from. Now, you were talking earlier about the students and that they did something that was just really, that made you emotional. They were out there reporting. Talk a little bit about that.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, too, because a lot of the students, to get them and be very proactive in covering news, you have different groups who do different levels of that, or better at it or worse. But during the high school walkouts, during the ICE protests, we saw that our students, a whole group of them, went out together, went and got names, shot great photos, and they by far did the best news coverage of that event. And that was one of our best results on social media, too, because we had thousands and thousands of shares. We put out a lot of things, and if 50, 60 people look at it, we're pretty happy. But this got a lot of activity, a lot of footage, because they did a good job just covering it, talking to the students, talking to the organizers, following them. And to have them go cover that breaking news event is so nice, because you want them to. But we try kind of reinforce that we are a daily immediate output, because since we put it out online. But it was wonderful to see them get excited, go, and then come back with something that was really well done.
And they were so excited when they came back, because we were actually doing a press day. So we were all in the lab working on the paper that was about to go out. And so they're texting us and asking questions about the coverage as they're doing it. And then when they all came back after getting everything, they were like, so are breaking news events always that exciting? Is that I'm so pumped. And I was like, now you got to sit down and write it. And so that was the other big lesson they were getting, was how to sit down and actually calm down enough to put your thoughts and your notes into a logical order
and
that makes
communicate.
Sense, and then get that out there
within
and get that out there within 2 hours, so that it's immediate, people know that it's happening or it just happened.
We'll be right back.
This is where you want to be, to dream, to grow, to graduate and succeed. This is Oso Creek campus at Del Mar College, home to core classes and signature programs with cutting-edge labs and state-of-the-art facilities. This is a place of innovation, transformation, and support. This is your time, your future. This is where you belong. Learn more at dmcdreams.com.
This show is a production of Del Mar College, where high school students and adults alike may qualify for the Freedom to Dream tuition waiver program. Applications for the program are now being accepted through June 30th. Learn more about the program and the requirements at delmar.edu/freedom. Come own your dreams at Del Mar College.
This is where it all starts. where dreams take off and what's next becomes clear. This is Heritage Campus at Del Mar College, home to core classes in arts, sciences, and business, with upgraded facilities and faculty who provide a quality education that transfers with you wherever you're headed. This is a place of creativity, possibility, and success. A place to excel, a place to grow. This is where you belong. Learn more at dmcdreams.com.
This is Viking Radio.
Well, and for our guests joining us, we've got Mr. Rob Muilenburg and Miss Allison Ehrlich. I said it right this
Yes.
time. Yahoo!
Throw
From
this
Del Mar
one
College.
correction out to you. It's Robert,
Robert Muilenburg. Why have I been calling you Rob?
because Mike does.
Oh,
We're
Mike,
pals. You're not pals.
special.
Call him Robbie.
Excuse me.
It all means the same thing. I just know my mother would be so upset. So
We are no,
we try
we are
not to upset my
not
mother.
in the business of upsetting the mamas. So, Mama Muilenburg out there, just so you know, Robert is in studio making you proud. Robert, just call me whatever. But we're talking about, first of all, the profession, that you're teaching. And so before you got here, Mike and I were talking about there's a lot of things in terms of print, TV, film out there that once you get a degree here or then you move on and transfer, there's a lot of great work out there, right? So when you've got parents, right, and grandparents out there listening like, yeah, but do I really want my kid to do this? Is there work out there? Papers are dead. Print is dead. It's not. But there's a lot of different avenues, right? Let's talk a little bit about what our students can go into the workforce.
Well, primarily too, a lot of times, like when we had graduated, we were thinking we'd go to a newspaper, work for 35 years, maybe move to a couple, and then retire at some
When
point.
you say we, you mean the old guys, Robert
yeah,
and Mike,
Mike, I keep
in the
gesturing
studio.
towards Mike. Yeah,
Allison and I
Not
are still
that
there,
old.
right?
Hey, we're still young. Too.
Well, Allison and I
You're
are.
not that
yeah. But now people do think that some of those legacy outlets are really suffering, and they absolutely are. However, there are more venues for you to work at. I've had students who have been successful at kind of creating their own news outlets online, which helps them find work. They get poached. Actually, the thing that's most upsetting is our best students usually get poached after a semester from Channel 3 or their news outlet. And but what they found, the most proactive students can find that they can kind of get an outlet for themselves if they need to. But then the biggest burgeoning market out there for students to work is a nonprofit. Texas Tribune. My wife works for VoteBeat, which is a civic news company, and there is some great journalism. ProPublica, the Center for Investigative Journalism. There are some great news outlets that are doing really incredible work that are paying decent wages. Yeah.
So that's a good point in that the work is still there,
It is.
right? And it's just in different outlets.
For the
No.
news outlets,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
The expanded one, of course, is media communications, like students doing PR for different outlets, because we have former students all over the place in different outlets. Like I say, somebody we went to school with, Omar
Lopez.
yeah.
AEP
is
Texas.
AEP Texas.
Yes.
But also several of my students have worked at either Flint Hills or Citgo or those different outlets as well.
That's what PR communications is really good that way, in that if it's something that you're good at, that you enjoy, it doesn't matter what type of work. You can go into anything, right? You can go into any type of work in the world and do PR and comms for that.
Yeah. You have to have the really motivated, driven students to want to do news. And we have those number of students who come in who want to do news. And there are outlets, there's opportunities for them, and they're working throughout the state and the nation. Like I say, a lot for nonprofits, but some for more traditional news outlets still at this point. But there's opportunities for all students who might not be driven towards the news aspect, but love that communication part of it.
Yeah.
And you also have the students who come in who are not interested in marketing and communications, but The Foghorn is a club. It is the press club. So even if that's not your major, you can come work with us. You do not have to be in our major. You can come participate in the broadcasts. You can participate
love
in
that.
the newspaper. You can
Okay.
participate this way. And a lot of people find that working on the newspaper builds some of those, not only the hard skills of writing or designing, but the soft skills of learning how to manage your time, how to
Yeah.
meet a deadline.
Deadlines.
Deadlines are a huge one.
That's
which
real world stuff.
theoretically, you should be learning that in school too. But when we're trying to get something out and send off,
You
to
gotta
the
get it
printer,
done.
It's got to be done by this time.
And it's got to be done well.
Yes,
And edited.
exactly.
I love that you bring that up because we talk a lot about student belonging. And when a student feels like they belong on a campus, on a college campus, they're more likely to stay, feel comfortable, make friends, but finish and complete. And so I think that's such a great example. I never thought of that. So if you're out there, again, even if you're not in the major and if that's not your career, but it's something you enjoy doing, there's a club for that.
You can join the Foghorn News staff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to touch on the fact that the most enthusiasm we have this semester has been for the Siren, our student literary magazine
That's
that comes
right.
out, and the students are working on that still at this point. Some are coming in on their own time over the summer. They're going to be going to school in the fall, but to help out, to edit, to come in on the weekend sometimes if they have to, they're really excited about it, and that's purely a creative outlet for them. But we've also had a lot of success with the Siren magazine as well.
Speaking of which, I would love to ask you guys a hard question, the hard question.
Ooh, okay.
And this is about mainstream media. We all live in the real world, and we know that in recent years, mainstream media has gotten a black eye. Let's face it. All the way around. Scott Pelley recently got fired from 60 Minutes. And,
That was tough to see.
yeah,
Tough.
and the list goes on and on. But what are your thoughts about the way journalism has evolved in just the last couple of years?
I'd have to say, kind of in the last couple of years, there's always been this enemy of the media, and there's always been this idea that I think it's an old saying, if you're writing something somebody wants you to write, then you're not doing it correctly. And the fact is, some of the traditional media outlets are being we've seen this throughout. A lot of media is being undermined by corporate gains. So when you have all these corporations buying and you're going for profit, media and news, and let's just call it news. I
Okay.
differentiate between
Okay.
news
I think that's a good distinction. Yes,
and
thank
media
you.
because when news conflates itself with entertainment, then it becomes a for-profit element, and I'll try to keep this as succinct as possible. But the thing is, it breaks my heart to see that with 60 Minutes. It destroys me because 60 Minutes is being undermined by a profit agenda. That whole thing about, when you see this, so they've earned all the criticism many times. There's been bad reporting, there's been bad faith, and the one thing that separates it from everything else is accountability. So if you go back to where some big mistakes were made, a lot of people lost their jobs. However, if you're not willing to be accountable, then I don't consider you a news outlet. 60 Minutes now, which is one of the stalwarts, and Scott Pelley, who is in the TIPA Hall of Fame, by the way.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's from Texas Tech is where he went to school.
Red Raider. Okay.
Yeah. Is a traditional journalist, and a lot of those guys are, and we're seeing them fall by the wayside when you see the bigger outlets. That's one of the biggest things I tell students. Are you accountable for the work you're doing, or are you not? And if you're held accountable, then you're doing the right work. It is that profit drive. If the bottom line for a news outlet is profit, then it's not a news outlet. It can't be, because if you're doing the stories you're supposed to do, if you're doing the work you're supposed to do, you're going to undermine the credibility of corporations, you're going to undermine the credibility of politicians. And if you're willing to do that without fear and with the protections the Constitution grants you, but there's that responsibility to it. And unfortunately, I think the responsibility in the last several years has turned purely towards profit. And that's, again, I think news as we know it will probably exist more so through a nonprofit entity because it's a public service.
Right, and you're right. And what you're alluding to, right, is that conflict of interest.
Yes.
When you're reporting from a whichever side, right?
Yes.
It's a conflict. I've always known about the Foghorn and the work that y'all do, but in talking with y'all today, it truly amazes me, again, given what we were just talking about with the culture and what's happening right now, the fact that this is still being taught with integrity and with ethics, it makes me really proud. And so with the program here, you can get your associate's degree. And so then if you want to continue, right, as a journalism major, as a communications major, then you can transfer to university with your degree from Del Mar College, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there are partnerships with our local universities. A lot of our students who do transfer to the Island University here at A&M Corpus. Some go over to A&M Kingsville. Some do online. But that is a good pipeline that's already established, right, if you're already out there.
We've had them really go up 35 because Texas State is a good transfer partner to
Texas
us.
State
We've had
University.
A lot of students go there.
Okay.
And when they leave Del Mar, the best thing they have going for them is they've worked on student publications since they got there. So many of my students, or our students in the past, have gone straight into staff positions on these other publications.
That's
University
cool.
of North Texas, UT Arlington. I've had a few go to UT, but that's not the biggest transfer. It tends to be some of those other schools along the way.
Okay. So there are those pipelines that are already established out there.
Yes. And that's a lot of times when we've had students who've said, oh, I started in a journalism program at this university as a 4-year university, but I wasn't allowed to participate as a freshman. I could not have a staff position. I had to just be in the background.
You had to wait, bide your time.
And here we're sending you out immediately to start working as soon as you start.
So even if you're a major, if you're a non-major, there's a space for you at the college here to be within that journalism and media outlet venue kind of space, which I absolutely love. I would also like to say that I was in the part of the Orange Grove Paw Print student newspaper.
A fine institution.
Fine institution in Orange Grove High School.
And what was your beat?
I'm not sure I had one.
Pizza today.
We talked about, important. It was the 90s, Mike. I mean, what was important back then? I don't even remember. It all seems like a dream now, but I was on the Paw Print journalism staff. I was a staffer. But thanks for calling me out on that. And so, again, I just want to say thank you to Robert and Allison from Del Mar College for joining us. Again, it's a legacy program, and I appreciate the work that you continue to do. Again, I'm just going to keep the integrity and the ethics behind this profession and career. And so, Mike B., if somebody is interested in journalism and media and comms, where do they go? Because I messed it up the last time.
delmar.edu. And
Simple
search
as that,
for journalism.
folks. Yes. And look for Robert Muilenburg. You know how to spell Muilenburg.
Yeah. There's a U in there where it shouldn't be.
Proud South Dakota guy here.
South Dakota, yeah.
That's right, South Dakota,
yeah.
Midwesterner. Well, Coastal Bend, thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, if you want to find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on our website, delmar.edu. There's a lot of great things happening here at Del Mar College. Have a great rest of your day.
This is Viking Radio. This show is a production of Del Mar College.